I only logged a few hours of listening so far, but that may be ample for leaving my preliminary thoughts. Also, unlike most who seem to be buying this as a mono amp for subwoofer amplification, my intent was to buy two of these for use as mono amps for stereo left and right channels. I've always been curious about the benefits of mono amps for stereo, and these amps provide an inexpensive way to experience that. These amps add to my ongoing collection of high-value, surprising performance Chinese high-fidelity products. I have come to expect performance beyond price, and these mono amps follow through. The general build, the switches, and the connectors are all quality. Setup was easy and was up and running in less than 10 minutes. I simply connected my Bluetooth DAC, an FX Audio X6 and another high-value component, to my vintage tube preamp, then the left output on the preamp going to the left input on one mono amp and the right output going to the right input on the other. After connecting my speakers, I set the mode on both amps to PBTL and I was ready to go. The preamp was likely not necessary, but I thought it might be nice to add some tube warmth to the experience. At some point I may eliminate the preamp from the chain to evaluate the mono amps on their own. My first impression was that the sound was very mid-range forward with good high-end. Bass seemed to be very subdued, which, given the bass capability of my Tech and Lore speakers, was noticeable. However, after about half an hour, the bass started to bloom. Perhaps needing time to warm up or charge capacitors, these amps were now sounding truly full range. Clarity, separation, and dynamics were all there. With just about 1/3 of the volume turned up, volume was room-filling. Considering those speakers only need a watt or two to get going, these amps have way more power than needed, which brings me to my next point. I don't know how Nobsound can call this a 300-watt amp, and I believe they sacrifice credibility by promoting this spec. The power supply can only provide 160 watts, and that's into a 4-ohm load. I'm not sure how that translates to 8 ohms, but power is not a limitation for my purpose. Being Class D topology, these amps can stay on for hours without feeling only very slightly warm. I suspect I may only be getting closer to 100 watts out of these amps, which is still more than ample for my highly efficient speakers, especially since one amp is dedicated to the left channel and the other is dedicated to the right. These amps merit comparison with my Class AB Airgun 200-watt amp from the 80s, despite how some may deride Class D operation. I suspect the Airgun amp will seem somewhat more refined, perhaps warmer and fuller, where the Nobsounds may be thinner, but that amp was many times more expensive and is very heavy. I am skeptical that it is that many more times higher in fidelity. At this early juncture, I am very pleased with these mono amps. Time will tell how well they hold up, but other Chinese components I have been problem-free for the longer term. How these amps compare against vintage Class AB gear will have to wait. I'm enjoying these mono amps too much on their own merits to spend time on such comparisons right now. Simple, easy to use subwoofer amp, delivers rated power into 10 inches 4-ohm down firing end table sub and shakes the room. It didn't really tell you anything, just had to figure how it worked. It was okay just waiting to get some different speakers, now worth the money. It works. Wouldn't push the 300W RMS Pioneer 10 600W speaker all that well. Had to turn the speaker level up. I did grab a 4-ohm 12-car speaker and it sounds pretty good. Click link in description for more reviews.